is up, everybody? It is Dirty and
DZAN. What is going on, people? It is episode 17, Wednesday, July 28th. But for you, it is Friday, July 30th. Dirty, we have a lot of shit to talk about. A lot of shit is happening. Open us up. What is going on, Dirty?
my wife is not doing great. I don't know if you guys caught the tough episode. I would appreciate if everybody would keep her in your thoughts. She's not doing real well right now, and she had to go to the hospital, and she just had surgery last week, and we do believe it's something to do with that. But she's got some very scary numbers right now, and so very concerned about that. But we forge ahead, and just wanted to put some positive vibes out there for her, and I would appreciate anything back from you guys. Thank you very much for that.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to kick things off here, DZAN, with some hockey talk, because honestly, it's been an insane past 7 days. Last Wednesday was the expansion draft. Seattle Kraken, new to the NHL. They got to basically pick off whoever they wanted from teams that had to leave players exposed. It's part of the expansion draft in the NHL. It's a goofy system. I don't like it, but it is nevertheless.
Side note real quick. What
Yes.
a great name. Seattle Kraken.
Oh, dude.
I like that. The rainy, come on. That's beautiful. All right, sorry, continue.
Yeah, I know. You're right. It's a perfect name.
Solid name.
I love their logo. I love their colors, everything. It's great. And then Friday and Saturday was the regular NHL draft. Crazy day there. And then yesterday was the final day for signing free agents. I'm sorry, not for signing free agents, for teams making trades. And then today began free agent frenzy, they call it, in the NHL. And it has been, I don't remember the last time we've seen anything like what we're seeing right now in the NHL as far as player movement and trades and free agents. And it's just been insane lately. I did the video about Steve Yzerman with a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff in there, but the fact of this is that he's done some really remarkable things in Detroit. As you guys know, I'm a big Red Wings fan, but moreover, I'm just a fan of hockey. And I have well, that's not true. I have ill will for very few teams.
There you go.
And unfortunately, the team that I dislike the most just signed my favorite goaltender. Toronto Maple Leafs signed Peter Mrazek, and he is absolutely my favorite player in the league. And he goes to the team that I dislike the most. I guess that's Murphy's Law. But yeah, it's just been absolute insanity in the NHL world here over the past week. And I can't wait until the season starts, especially as a Red Wings fan, because they've definitely made some serious strides this offseason. Stevie seems like he's pivoting at this point and putting a legit team together. When I say legit, I mean legit in the sense of they have a chance. The past few seasons, they haven't even had a chance. And I'm not predicting a playoff run, but I'm not saying they won't make the playoffs.
Right.
So that's definitely a nice shift in momentum for Red Wings fans. Edmonton Oilers, I warned you before you took Ken Holland as your general manager. And as a side note to everybody that doesn't know, Ken Holland was the general manager for Detroit Red Wings. I was never a fan of his. And now you're seeing why in Edmonton that I was not a fan of his. He's made some laughable moves. Carolina Hurricanes have made some absolutely ridiculous moves, ridiculously bad.
Here, let me clarify.
Don Waddell is a very well-respected general manager in the NHL, but some of the things he's done in the past few days are absolute head scratchers. So I'm not going to rehash all of that because we got so much to get to, but there is a lot to uncover with all of that I just laid out there. So maybe at some point, if I get a chance, I'll do a separate video for the hockey people. And I know there aren't a whole bunch of them, and I don't want to use up the podcast time to do all of that. So maybe I'll do a separate video.
Okay, cool. Well, it seems like a lot shaking up in the NHL world. Vegas 31 and UFC Vegas 32 wrap up. As you guys know, we missed 2 weeks. So here's your wrap up for that. And let me just say, DZAN shook off the losing streak, and I am back on top. 5-0. DZAN went for Vegas 31. Dirty went 3-2. See, this is what I meant when I said that Dirty's such a good friend, because I take every chance I can to just be like, hey, look, I beat you, man. 5-0. Doubt me now. Okay. That's what I want to say. But in all seriousness, I did go 5-0, but let's talk about some of the fights. Dirty, what are your thoughts?
Well, truth be told, you guys, I was terribly disappointed, and I'm sorry, guys. My brain is fried right now. There's just a lot going on inside my house right now. Mm-hmm. And so please, I'm going to lean on DZAN. So please forgive me here a little bit. What was the second to last? What was the co-main event? I
believe it was Jeremy Stevens, or it was the
big guys.
Oh, the big boys that fought. Yeah. You're talking about Vieira. Is that? No, not Vieira. No, they weren't. It was Miesha Tate was the co-main event for that one. Or are you talking about the one that just happened?
I'm sorry. Yeah. The one that just happened. My bad. I know.
Yeah, no,
you're right. We were on a different week there. But while we're here, let's just hit it.
Yeah, let's hit it. Go for it.
And the reason is because DZAN's holding up his 5 digits there. He had every reason to be concerned in that fight, because I can't remember the last time when I've seen a fighter literally hand over a victory to an opponent. Damn it.
Which one are you talking about? I don't think any big boys.
Oh my God.
So the co-main for last night was Kyler Phillips and
not last night.
Pavian, or for the TJ.
You know what? Hang on 1 second, you guys. Okay, sorry about that.
I think you're talking about Darren Elkins, the damage, versus Derek Minor, right? Yeah.
Yes. I can't remember the last time I've seen a fighter literally hand over a victory like that.
Yeah.
That fight was a wrap in the first round and a half.
Yep.
It was just pure domination.
Yeah.
And he ran out of gas. I mean,
exactly. This isn't the first time that Darren Elkins has turned it around like that, but that was bad. This whole night, look, guys, Vegas 32 was a whole night of comebacks. Okay. When you really think about it, and you think about all of the winners were losing their fight until they won their fight. Almost every single person on this card, Macy Barber, was losing her fight until she won.
And Derek I still don't know that she won that.
Split decisions are always tough.
So
but we'll get into that a little bit more when we talk about split decision with Sandhagen and Dillashaw. But you are 1,000% right with Darren Elkins on that one. They don't call him the damage for nothing.
Yeah.
But there comes a time when you can take too much, man. Too much.
Yep. So
we had Kyler Phillips versus Rulian Pavia, which is another good fight. That was the one I did not get right on that one. I went 4-1 last week. Let's get into the TJ fight. I really want to talk about that TJ fight because I know you have some thoughts on it, and you and I actually have different takes on it, which is always great. Mm-hmm. So please, let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
Well, your comment on Instagram, proving that ring rust is not real. Yes. I saw the fight a lot differently than that. I saw a tremendous amount of rust.
Okay.
He took a lot of damage, a tremendous amount of damage. And listen, Corey Sandhagen is a stud. That's why I picked him to win. He's a stud. He should not have landed as many shots as he did. The old TJ Dillashaw would not have taken near that amount of damage. I saw a tremendous amount of ring rust. That's why I was surprised by your comment. Now, granted, he absolutely did enough to win that fight. And
yes,
I have to say, I think he won that fight.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Corey isn't going crazy over the top with robbery kind of talk and all of that.
Even Corey said I made mistakes that gave him the win. Yeah.
Right.
I made mistakes.
And listen, it's the old adage, man. Don't leave it in the judge's hands. It's just that simple.
Right.
Once you do that, it's your fault. End of story. I thought that TJ looked really good. I don't think he looked anything like his old self. If it were anybody other than Corey Sandhagen, I shouldn't say anybody, but there were a few
anybody
fighters
else in that maybe top four.
Yes. Yeah. I would say that it probably would have been a little smoother for TJ because Corey is a stud, man.
Yeah. He's the worst matchup for TJ in that for a lot of people with his length in that division. He's a problem. Yeah. He's a problem for everybody. But for TJ specifically, with TJ being as stout and, short as he is, not having that kind of reach. Absolutely. I will agree with you on that he was definitely not his former self. However, this is why I say ring rust is not a thing. And TJ proved it with the adversity. Okay. He hyperextended his knee in that first round terribly. And he had to deal with that the rest of the fight, and he could not stand on it right.
And he championed it, man.
And it right there, the heart of a champion. And what do champions do? They go to their next base of strength. I'm going to get him against his cage. I'm going to grind him out, and I'm going to look for the takedowns. I'm going to look for the control time, because right now my knee isn't where it needs to be. That's what I mean by ring rust wasn't a thing, because he still has that immediate in the moment. Okay, I got to change my game plan right now because I'm compromised. Then he gets the cut. Okay, now I got to change my stance because this fucking cut's right above my eye. I think
that was a nasty cut.
I think that had TJ had even the slightest bit of, I don't know if I can do this, he would have lost that fight. I 100% think that.
I think where we have our disagreement is the term ring rust then. Because
yes, I think so. Maybe,
when I think of ring rust, I don't think of the mental aspect as much as the physical aspect.
Right.
Whereas you're projecting it onto the mental aspect, and I get that. So I think that's where our difference of opinion come in.
But nevertheless, what a fucking fight, man! Corey did everything he could to try and squeeze it out. That was as entertaining as a
fight can get.
Yeah.
When you come to the judges and you don't know who won, you watched a good fight. That's obviously
right. Yes.
Yeah. But usually you've watched a really good fight, and that was absolutely the case there. That was entertaining. That's a pay-per-view fight right there,
Yep.
And TJ can talk a really good game, and that helps him. But these little guys, they struggle selling pay-per-views. So I would not say that, he's a pay-per-view draw, but I think with TJ's win now, you can put him on a pay-per-view as a co-main. I really think you're probably
100% right. And there are a few in the bantamweight division right now. You only got a couple. You got Cody Garbrandt, ex-champion. Now TJ Dillashaw, I will say that he's in there. You really don't have many else.
Did you see Cody's
yeah, let's run it right now. Yeah. I love TJ's like, nah, I shut him up twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's go back 1 week. There's three fights I really want to call out. The Stevens versus Gamrot fight. Jeremy Stevens getting Kimura'd in the very first round. This is Jeremy Stevens' 5th loss in a row now. What is next for the little heathen? What's going on with who the fuck is that guy?
Well, first of all, I think Dana has a special place in his heart for, listen, we know when Dana's got a special place in his heart for somebody, he gives them a lot of latitude.
Right.
Whereas somebody like Anderson Silva, I know Dana loves Anderson, but at the same time, there have been some fractured moments.
You're right.
Conor McGregor, Jeremy Stevens, there are a few guys that get a lot more leeway than the rest.
Mm-hmm.
With that said,
Dana White privilege.
Yeah, right. With that said, I don't know, man. I would not mind seeing Jeremy Stevens hang it up. He's a shell of his former self. He takes a lot of heat for the "who the fuck is that guy" comment.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, he was really coming into his own. Yep. And, when he made the comment to Conor back, actually, I take that back. He made the original comment where he said, this guy knocks people out. This guy knocks people out. When I hit him, they don't get up.
They don't fucking move.
Right. And at that time, he was peaking, and he was everything he said to Conor. Since then, and especially like you said, the past 4 or 5 fights, oh man, he is a shell of his former self.
Yep. And I mean, and it's not to say he wasn't fighting tough competition. I mean, losing to Calvin Kattar is not,
of course not
that bad. It's not that bad. Diego, sorry.
But the bar, that's my point, is the bar for Jeremy Stevens, in my opinion, the bar is really high, and he's never going to hit that anymore.
Right.
So now I'm looking at it kind of sadly. Could he still take out a top 10? Fuck yes,
he can,
without question.
Yeah,
but
he's got the power.
Can he take out a top 5? I don't think so. And so now it becomes, what's the point? Right. I know you want a payday, and I don't know, man. That's just where I'm at with it.
All right, then we got Miesha Tate versus Marion Reneau. Miesha Tate with her victory coming in the 3rd round with TKO strikes on the bottom. She had a really great performance, solid performance again.
She sure did.
She really, really did a fantastic job. She's eyeing that belt again. We'll see, Miesha Tate.
We'll see. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And then Islam Makhachev. I mean, this one's really easy and quick.
Come on, man.
Another dominant performance. And Diego Moises is no fucking joke. I really, 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 really need everyone to understand how real this fucking guy is. I know these fights look easy to him, but how many times have we seen that with Khabib? He's actually facing really tough competition, and it's only going to get tougher. We'll see how he handles it, because he did get rocked.
You know where I stand with this.
Right. Once you start turning it up, the competition, they start looking more and more human.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right.
We've seen this so many times.
I think he's right there now.
We saw Izzy, rise and listen, he's still slaying it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but he wasn't so far above the competition anymore. When he fought Robert Whittaker, he looked phenomenal, but Robert Whittaker still hit him.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah.
I'm interested to see the next name for Islam. I'm really interested. It has to be somebody in the top 5, because they jumped this boy all the way up to, I think he's like 6 now or some shit. He was 9 or something. And so you could tell UFC, I think,
deservedly so.
Well, I would say deservedly so. Yes. But now is the time to give him somebody in that top 5, so that he proves it to everybody else. Do I think it's going to be as dominant? No. It will be a lot more competitive the next time. Mark my words. But he's one hell of a fighter and a future champion.
100%. That guy's got not only has he got champion written all over him, he's got long-term champion written all over him.
Yeah.
You see a lot of Khabib in him.
Yeah.
But I really like his striking a lot better.
I was going to say he's a better striker. He's a better striker than Khabib.
So
Khabib is awkward and powerful. Yes. But Islam is clean and accurate. And I'll take that any day. I'll take that over awkward and powerful any day.
What did Connor say?
Timing beats speed. And timing
accuracy,
beats accuracy.
Accuracy beats power, and timing beats speed.
Yes, timing beats speed. Yep.
There's a lot of truth to that, man. If you hit it on the right spot, and you're poignant enough to get
Jose Aldo, right then and there, practicing the same move right before you went out and did it. Yeah. Let's stop talking about greatness here because I'm blushing. BKFC 19 just wrapped up, ladies and gentlemen. Paige Van Zandt versus Rachel Ostovich. I told you guys I was going to be buying it. I told you guys I was going to be watching it. And boy, fucking did I. Those of you who are on our Instagram and Twitter got to see everything kind of play out. I was posting it round by round. We all had a blast over there. What a fucking card. This whole event was fucking nuts.
They've really done well.
The last BKFC I watched was BKFC 5, okay, with the GOAT, Artem Lobov, all right? That was the best fight I've ever seen.
The Paulie Malignaggi fight, or
no, the Jason Kidd. I did see the Paulie Malignaggi fight, so I think that was like 9 or something. So that would be the last one I watched, but it's different. It's complete. It's 1000% different. It looks more professional.
Really, the production is way better. Yeah.
When me and my brother first watched it and watched it back when it first started, when that president came out and we just watched a horrible fight, he came out and said, neither of those guys get their purse. If you don't fucking fight, you don't get paid here at BKFC. And we just thought that is the most savage fucking thing you can do. And we were hooked from then. I mean, this is a great fucking promotion. I'm liking it.
I am too, man.
And these fights are fucking killer.
They're very entertaining.
I will say they had a little section this time where influencers are fighting, YouTubers and TikTokers. Please it was fun. It was fun. My wife was like, who the fuck are these guys? Because she even she knows fighters, and she's like, who the fuck? She's like, he's really sloppy. I'm like, yeah, he's not a fighter. He's a YouTuber. So that's what that is. So as soon as those were over, we got some really good fucking fights, a couple really great fights. But man,
let me just interject one quick thing about that topic. This stuff is a flash in the pan, just so you know.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to everybody out there, all 48 that are going to watch this podcast. It is a flash in the pan. I've seen this stuff play out a million times in my life. This is going to go away. And what I hope BKFC is careful of is that they don't give too much attention to it, because they could end up looking silly in the end.
Right.
That's why I know Dana is avoiding this stuff like the plague, because he's seen this movie before too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's funny you announced that, because they did. The president did announce that they are actually getting sanctioned or having some kind of new rule set that's specific for them that's going to be rolling out too. So they're looking more for that official look. And to your point, this is not the look that you want if you're going in that more professional route, right? Let's talk about the fight.
The promotion.
The promotion, right. The promotion. Let's talk about the fight. Paige Van Zandt versus Rachel Ostovich.
Sorry about that. I was muting my mic, guys, because my dogs are barking. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. Paige had a killer opening round, lit her up in the first round, almost ended it right away.
I thought it was a wrap.
Almost ended it right away. Second round came out, Paige piecing her up, but damn, Rachel ran away with it. Now, you guys, these are only 2-minute rounds. And Paige was just blowing out the gas tank. And Rachel caught her towards the end. She owned that last minute, and that gave her the round for sure. Last round, Rachel was winning the entire fucking round. Paige had a couple really good shots, but she was getting lit up like a Christmas tree. I don't understand why Paige was so upset afterwards. She stormed out. She stormed off. Peace, I'm out. I don't understand it. It didn't make sense to me, because Rachel won handedly. You won the first round for sure. You won half the second round. I don't know. I don't think so. Rachel won it.
Again, you left it into the judge's hands.
Yeah.
So you can't do this. It's such a bad look. And listen, I know what a big fan of Connor you are, and I'm a fan too still, but it's just not a good look when you're complaining about things that happen in a fight that you had complete control over. And she can't do this. She can't go down this road because this is going to damage her brand. And she is all about the brand. That's her whole thing is her brand, because she's an influencer.
She doesn't need to fight, guys. She doesn't need to fucking fight. These beautiful women are getting their face punched for money, for entertainment. They don't need to do this, especially Paige. She really fucking doesn't. The fact that she goes in there, it shows the heart of a fighter. It shows who she is. She doesn't need to be storming off.
Yeah,
she doesn't need that shit. It really throws salt in it, and just what I said, salty as fuck. I did not like it. Bad look.
Either. Yeah,
I get she's 0-2 now in BKFC. I get that. She could have handled the loss a little better. That's all I'm saying about that.
Yeah, it was very, very reminiscent of I can't remember who it was. It was Nick Diaz, or maybe it was the Nate and Josh, or the Pellegrino fight. I don't know. I can't. No, Nate won that fight. Anyway, it was a fight where I want to say it was Nick, and he just left the cage. And it's just, I'm such a huge fan of the Diaz boys, but when they do stuff like that, it turns me off big time.
It's poor sportsmanship to begin with. And when we think about the end of the day, this is a sport, right? We're in mixed martial arts, and mixed martial arts, 1000%, number one, it's about respect. You don't do that. Whether you win or lost, you give the respect to the fighter. You give the respect to your team, to their team, to everyone that paid for it, to stay your ass in there and listen for the result. Accept it, right? Chew it up and eat it, then walk out. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's definitely my take on that. The whole event was fucking crazy. I will say, in one of the influencers fights, the rapper Blueface, he was kicking this dude's ass, and then a fan after the fight rushed the ring, and Blueface punched him hard as fuck. Oh, he got him hard. They started kicking this dude's ass, and then there was a second fan that came. They tackled him down. They arrested the two fans. Craziness was happening. I missed
all of this.
Oh yeah, and then fucking Tyron Woodley was having an altercation with Hector Lombard in the crowd.
I saw that
over a side chick.
Yeah.
The event was nuts, man. This event was nuts, and I told my wife, I'm like, oh shit, the next one's she's like, you're not buying no more fucking pay-per-views every month. You're already buying the UFCs. You're not gonna add on the BK. So, well, we'll think about it. We'll just see what happens. We'll see. But that was my thought on BKFC 19. Some fights that are coming up that just got announced. Kevin Holland making his comeback versus Kyle Dawkins, October 2nd. Everybody,
he's burying the lead here, guys. He's burying the lead.
And then of course we have the big one. Sorry, Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan in October 30th. Now hold on real quick before I do get to the meat and potatoes of the fights that were announced. This is going to be the first non-pay-per-view title event since 138.
And I think that speaks volumes. And this kind of, this goes back to what I was saying before about watching the little guys versus the big guys and all that. They just don't draw, and
I think Dana's pissed at the result from what happened last time, that he's like, I don't want that on pay-per-view right now.
I know that rumor is out there.
That's just what I thought,
Well, yeah, it's all over that's all over the place. Maybe there's some of that to it, but Dana's about the bucks, man. And if it's going to sell, he doesn't give a shit, man.
Yes, so, you're right.
Yeah, I think it
which is why he put up with Tito Ortiz for the longest fucking time until he was finally able to get rid of his ass. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, the t-shirts and everything. I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
TJ wants to be backup. I'm cool with that. Let's do that. TJ wants to be backup.
It's a smart move. It's a smart move, especially because we know how this fight's going to play out.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no doubt.
I was right the first time when I said Aljamain was going to win. All right. And I know I'm going to be right this time when I say he is going to lose handedly. I'm ready for the fight to be over. How about that?
Yeah,
I'm ready for Halloween
because we need to get through this fight.
Exactly. So
in order to get
135 is so fucking stacked right now. Let's get through this shit so we can get to the real champion, and then we can get the real prospects up there. I've never shit on a champion so bad, and it sucks to even say that he's a champion. He's not really a champion.
Yeah.
But the last thing that was announced, Dirty. Go on, you take it. Go ahead, say it.
Colby fucking Covington and Kamaru fucking Usman. It's about fucking time.
Yes, 2. It's going down in November. Usman, just like he said, cleaned out my division, and now I'm lapping him. He just come on. He just had his second fight.
However, out of all of the laps he did, that was not the toughest very close fight. And a lot of people forgot about that. Yes. Go back and watch that fight, man.
Oh, yeah. And it was a great fucking fight.
Close fight all the way till the end, man.
Yeah.
And if he did have a broken jaw, and by all accounts, he did.
He did have a broken jaw.
If he did, that's fucking savage.
Yeah.
To fight all the way through that whole fight, the way they were fighting.
It was like a round and a half with just puffy face from it being.
Man, listen, you can say fight, what you want about Colby Covington, and I got my own issues with Colby, but the dude is a fucking savage. And you guys better not forget that, because if Kamaru Usman forgets about that part,
and I can guarantee you he's not, man.
I'll tell you right now, I'm picking Usman.
Yeah, me too. Me too. For sure, I'm picking Usman. But this will be
there's going to be a caveat when I make that pick, and to say, I don't think I'm going to be shocked if he doesn't, because Colby can fight, man.
Yep.
This is a spade is a spade. He can fight, and whether you like him on a personal level or not, the dude can fight.
Yep.
So, and out of all of the fights that Usman fought, it's not even close who gave him the roughest way to go. It's not even close.
It's not. It's going to definitely be his toughest fight, especially since they already fought the first time, and Colby has a better rule book to go by, a better game plan to go by. It's going to be rough, and don't think we're going to see an all-out striking war like we did the first time. I know everybody thought it was going to be a wrestling match the first time, and then of course it wasn't. We're going to see more of that wrestling match this time. I think Colby's going to know I got to get some control time.
If it ends up being a striking match again, I think that diminishes Usman's chances.
Really? I think Usman has only gotten better. I think Usman has only gotten better.
He has. Absolutely, he has. But you're talking about micromically better, because at that time he was already almost where he's at now.
Yeah.
And Colby cannot have improved that much in that amount of time either.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that Kamaru can't beat him in a striking match. What I'm saying is, out of the two, if I'm rooting for Kamaru, I think his chances are much better on the ground than they are standing up. Either way, I think Usman gets this victory, but I think it's kind of a no-brainer. It's much more favorable for Kamaru to get him to the ground than it is to stay standing. If for no other reason, puncher's chance.
Right.
You know? So, absolutely, 100% for Kamaru's sake. You know, I'd like to see a little more ground and pound, you know. But he may get lulled back into that, because that's what happened in that first fight. I'm sure he had every intention to go in there. As a matter of fact, he said so, that he planned on wrestling. They just couldn't get to it. Well, that's because Colby is going to be in your face the whole time, and he's not going to let you do that.
That's what he
So,
does. He's a pressure fighter. If there's any pressure fighters off the top of the head besides Habib, the pressure fighter is Colby 100%.
in a gas
puts
tank.
the pressure on, and it doesn't stop. The dude has a gas tank that lasts miles and miles and miles. So yes, it's going to be very tough. But it just also speaks to the level that Kamaru's at, and just what an amazing fighter he is, that we're talking so highly of Colby, and yet we're still like, I still don't really see.
Oh, because in my opinion, I think anybody else that Colby faces, he wins.
Yes.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
Gilbert Burns notwithstanding. I think anybody that Colby faces other that not named Kamaru Usman, I believe he wins that fight. I have very little hesitation in saying that. So yeah.
All right.
Dope ass hat, by the way. I meant to tell you that earlier.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you. Another sad news. Sean O'Malley got tattooed by 6ix9ine, and 6ix9ine put a 6ix9ine on him. Look, I thought I was liking Sean again, and this is just fucking with me mentally.
Yeah, he's losing me again already. I'm
legit upset at Sean O'Malley for doing this. I had a feeling that it was his favorite rapper because of the hair and everything, and kind of his antics and just the way he thinks in general. But this solidified it for me, and I just don't know if I'm jumping back on the Sean O'Malley train.
Yeah,
I just don't know. We'll see his next fight. We'll see. I'm not very happy. Rashad Evans talks coming out of retirement. Dirty. Give me your thoughts, please.
He was on my top 10 list. Favorite UFC fighters of all time. Let me say this. Now, I put the caveat out there immediately that he was on my list for this reason. I absolutely love Rashad Evans. And it's going to be a little inconsistent on my end by saying what I'm going to say, but I'm happy about it.
Okay.
Now, I know what I just said about Jeremy Stevens and all that, but this is a different animal because he's coming back. I don't believe for a second that he has any aspirations in being champion again.
No.
Okay.
No.
So at least we know what it is.
Right.
And if he's coming out to entertain us, like a la Nick Diaz, Carlos Condit, and not that Carlos really ever retired, but he was gone for a long time.
Right.
So to get to watch, and we talked about this before, DZAN, if you remember, not just too long ago, about having like a Legends League or something like that.
Right. Yes.
And that he would slide beautifully in there. But am I ecstatic about it? No, keeping it real. I'm not, but I am interested in seeing one of my all-time favorite fighters fight again. So I'll leave it at that.
I can see that. I am. Rashad has always been one of my favorites too, ever since the tough season that I saw him on. And just knowing that because I've also followed John Jones, and then of course they were training partners for a long time. Rashad was out here in Albuquerque for a great part of his career up until the championship fight. I've always loved Rashad. I don't want him coming back for the same reason why I didn't want him to fight those last two times. I just hate seeing him lose in the way that he lost. But I absolutely see your point of entertainment thing. Like you said, I'm looking for the right fight. Like I might have fought a top Logan Paul guy, or Jake Paul. I can see that. And I would be happy with, is he going to do boxing? Okay, cool. Let's do that. But I don't want to see him back in our realm. I don't want to see him with another promotion doing MMA. I don't want that. No. I don't want that. No. I would like something more in his realm of let's do grappling, or let's do boxing. Let's do something like that. I would watch that for sure. I don't want to see him do MMA again. I don't.
Yeah. The only reason I do is just because he's one of my all-time favorite fighters. Yeah. And, one of my all-time favorite hockey players, Brendan Shanahan, he's been retired for 15 years. I would love to see him play again.
Right. Come back. Yep.
But but I also have very low expectations if he played again, So I think that for me, it's easier because I can temper my expectations knowing that he's not going to fight a top 15 guy. So I don't think he's taking bread out of anybody's mouth.
Yeah.
And I think if he fights, an unranked guy, I think he could represent himself pretty well. And listen, man, just to see Rashard Evans' name on a placard
on a poster
somewhere again,
yep.
Dope, man. That's how I feel about it. But
that
I
kind
get
of
100% what you're saying. The only reason I feel like that is because he's one of my favorite fighters. If he weren't, I'd probably have a completely different take on this.
That brought me directly to Michael Jordan and the Wizards.
Right.
I loved that he came back, and I tailored my expectations because we knew he probably wasn't the same Mike. He wasn't, but we still love watching him play. And I definitely see exactly what you mean by that. That's all I had for MMA. Going into music topics, you good with that?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start off. Number one thing, first and foremost, rest in peace, Biz Markie passed away due to complications of his type 2 diabetes. A little premature a few weeks ago with this shit and rumors and all this shit. False reports coming out. Well, it's real reports now that he passed away. And just, again, all good, positive
I remember Michael posting something on Patreon about that. And I immediately went to Google and I'm seeing their false reports.
Right.
So then I went back and I posted something on Michael's post, and I said, I think these are rumors. And we never heard anything about it. And that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then
he went to the hospital. He got into a coma he went into a coma, and then people abruptly started putting that he passed away. Like he was in a coma and he just didn't wake up.
Right.
Or he had a stroke. He had a stroke in his coma. So that did it. But
it's terribly sad news.
Terribly sad. He was one of the pioneers of hip hop. Ladies and gentlemen, when you think back on hip hop, he really was one of those pioneers, and he was the class clown of rap that everybody needed, that relief everybody needed.
Listen, DZAN, I tell you, I knew nothing about rap more than a few years ago, but I do remember that song, man. And I mean, it was just so bad that it was good.
So bad it was good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I remember even vibing to it back in the day when the song was out, So it's terribly sad. We are losing some legends, man.
Yes, we are. Sad times. All right, moving on to that, ladies and gentlemen, MTV's Cribs is coming back for all of us millennials and you little Gen Zs.
I believe Tough has everything to do with that.
I think they
saw they brought Tough back and said, no. We got to bring Cribs back.
Hold my beer. Yeah, we're going to bring Cribs back. Rick Ross is going to be on it. Look, I loved Cribs when they showed 50 Cent in his gigantic mansion home. And my favorite was Redman, who kept it real. And he was up in an apartment in the hood. And he's like, this is my DVD collection. It was a bunch of porn DVDs. And he had like roommates that were just sleeping, passed out. Like,
my favorite one was Sully Erna, who is the lead singer for Godsmack, in his motorcycle collection. Oh my God, man.
Beautiful. And all those cars these rappers would have too, man.
Yeah. That was a sick collection. Tommy Lee's house. And there was a bunch of them.
So it's funny they're bringing it back in the age of social media when these artists are oversharing already to begin with.
Right.
Why not show their homes?
It is kind of comical. Yeah.
Right. Now, off of that, let's get into T-Pain real quick. T-Pain went the fuck off on rappers not being original. He was doing I don't know if it was a podcast. I think it was just gaming, but he was streaming. He's saying they're trying to copy what's popping on the radio, saying that there's too many babies. Like he said there's two babies doing all the music you want. There's Lil Baby and there's Da Baby. There's Lil Uzi Vert. There's Lil Yachty. There's Lil Everybody. And Dr. Dre retweeted it and agrees completely with him on Twitter. I love it, and I completely agree with what T-Pain is saying. Be original. Don't try and do the shit that's popping on the radio, because there's already somebody that's not only doing it, but doing it better than you are currently. So let's chill with that shit. Let's get a little bit more originality.
Let me personalize this here a little bit, because we went through the same thing in the 80s with heavy metal. I remember listening to Iron Maiden in my bedroom. Iron Maiden and Queensryche. I used to play them all the time. And my dad came into my bedroom one time and he's, what the fuck is that? And I said, Dad, that's heavy metal. And he's like, I mean, because heavy metal, it had been around a little while, but my dad hadn't been exposed to it very much.
Right.
And I said, Dad, it's heavy metal. And he's like, man, that just sounds like a bunch of noise to me. And now my dad was into like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and, more of the psychedelic rock stuff like that. That was
where they verbalize a little bit. Yeah.
Well, and it was a much more slow moving,
right.
And all of a sudden he's here, and I'll never forget the look on his face when he was listening to it. But the reason I bring that up is because there was that transition from where all of the classic rock, dad rock at that time was going on, and they were shitting all over heavy metal.
Right.
Well, a big part of that reason is because heavy metal was exploding at the time.
Right.
And I'm sure they didn't like the fact that everybody started tuning out Led Zeppelin and now they're listening to Motley Crue.
Yes.
That kind of thing. And so there's probably some of that happening here too. So I'm going to go on a limb, and I don't have my ear to the grindstone on this at all, but I'm going to go on a limb and say that most likely the younger people, the 25 and unders, are going, well, Dre's old, and these guys are all old guys. So it's kind of it's a cycle. I think that every genre goes
Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole are old to them.
Oh,
and those are the legends to them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Those are the old guys in the game that are legends to them.
Lil Wayne's ready for the Hall of Fame now.
Lil Wayne's, yeah. Exactly. He's on his way up. Yeah, exactly. No shit.
Yeah.
All right. Now just released the top 10 most successful, I should say, streaming included, right? So the best selling.
We forgot a sports topic, and you just brought up top 10, and I just want to punch this in real quick here.
Go for it.
Next week, you guys, DZAN and I are going to be going over our top 10, but they're not top 10. They're going to be top 5.
That's a little caveat.
We're going to do our top 10 quarterbacks, NFL quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and overall defenses. So stay tuned for that next week. Forgot to interject that during the sports talk. Sorry about that, but the top 10 thing reminded me. So
because we are getting closer and closer to the NFL season coming.
Yeah, matter of fact, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Dallas Cowboys got to start training camp this week because of the Hall of Fame game. So they got to start a few days earlier than the rest of the league. But we are embarking on training camp. So
we're already on our way to the playoffs, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, every team is. Every team is on their way to the playoffs. So.
All right. So an updated list just came out for the biggest selling and most streamed rappers of all time. Quickly go over the first top 5, but then I'll get into the numbers of the other top 5. So the number 10 most selling rapper of all time, DMX, 34 million. Number 9, Snoop Diggity Dogg, 40 million.
That does not surprise me at all. Yeah.
Number 8, Tupac Shakur, 75 million. I know. 75 million records sold, Tupac Shakur. Number 7, Flo Rida. When you think about hip hop, Flo Rida was definitely that man. 102 million records sold. Number 6, Nicki Minaj, 106 million. Number 5, Weezy F Baby, 110 million. Now we get into the big dogs, guys. Number 4, Jay-Z, 125 million records sold. Number 3, I'm gonna see if Dirty can guess the last 2, but number 3, Kanye West, 140 million records sold. Who do you think number 2?
I'm so glad we're past that name.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar and Drake.
Number 2 is Drake. 152 million units sold. And coming in at number 1 with 75 million more at 227 million records sold. He goes by Marshall Mathers, Eminem, Slim Shady, the guy from 8 Mile.
Wait a minute here.
Yes. Kendrick is not on the top 10 yet.
You got to be kidding me.
So let's think about this.
That's
right?
true, because he's got
think about the longevity.
Albums.
Right. He's got 3 projects.
A couple of the albums weren't really.
Yep. Yeah, I was actually surprised that 50 Cent wasn't on here because of how wildly successful Get Rich or Die Trying was, and Massacre was wildly successful. I mean, that hit double diamond. I feel like so there are a couple that was coming off
the heels of him doing the thing with the game too.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
G-Unit and everything popping. Yeah. So there's a couple that surprised me, but the biggest is Tupac with only 75 million.
I got Drake.
That's you believe that? You got Drake.
You believe that?
I didn't think you were gonna say Drake at all. I thought you were gonna throw him in there, or
you know what? I don't know.
Maybe
why.
I don't know.
I wasn't even thinking of Biggie at all. But I don't know how I was.
I know, right? I mean, look, guys, it's not even a competition. We're talking 75 million more, 227 million units sold. Nobody's touching that for a very long time. And number 2 is, again, 75 million under. So it's a really cool list to see when you look at it like that.
You're right, because M has a lot of albums, and he's been around a long
1999,
time.
Baby. Yep.
Yes.
22 years.
That's a long time.
And Drake's been around for 10. So think about that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But Drake also has a lot more pop appeal.
Yes.
And
R&B-ish tracks too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. And so maybe that filters more globally,
right,
as well.
Yeah.
So that's probably helpful too. But yeah, the more I think about it, you're absolutely right, because there's no way Kendrick would be in there with.
Not yet. Kendrick and Cole will be on this list for sure. One day. Yeah.
100% Cole will.
They're going to be on here. Yeah.
Yes,
they're going to be on here. But what a great list. And man, just thinking about that top 5, Wayne, J, forget Kanye West, but then Drake, Eminem. I mean, damn, these are some juggernauts, man. Juggernauts. So that's really cool. I thought that was really cool. I wanted to share that with you guys. We have some rap beef to talk about, but before we get into rap beef, let's get into some rumors. I know I got some music rumors.
Now, wait a minute. How do you throw a statement like that out there and then you don't do it?
Because that's a little more that's to get them ready to watch later.
Guys like
let's
you.
get.
I hate watching podcasts like yours.
All right. Here we go. Let's get into some rumors. Dirty.
Let's go.
You're first. What do you got?
Okay. Well, we got tour dates for Megadeth. Still have no fucking album.
Still nothing on the album date. Nothing on the name. Nothing on anything.
24 tour dates already, and still have not told us who the bass player is. And he went in and re-recorded all of the tracks.
Wow.
And then so we don't know who the bass player is still, and we still don't know the album, or we haven't heard the album. He did say the name of it. It's failing me now, but so
we got a name basically.
Yeah, we got a name. I don't remember.
And some dates.
If I can, never mind. I don't even want to give myself that task right now. I was going to insert it here, but
no, I know what you're.
I got a lot going on.
I'll put it right here. No, you're not.
Yeah,
don't do it.
But anyway, So that's all I got right now, except for the fact that Dirty is flowing right now. Let me say that he has been flowing, and a lot of recording. I'm getting there, guys. I'm making a lot of progress.
I'm very excited. I'm very, very, very excited.
Yeah.
All right. Some rumors we got here. Fred Reck, Aftermath producer, posted another piece of evidence to the longest awaiting hip hop album of all time. Announced 17 years ago, we may finally be getting Dre's Detox album. Frederick posted another picture, this time of Dre and Snoop in the studio with the caption "Dynamic Duo." And
So
just like King Crooked's tweets, right? Because King Crooked was also tweeting about it's coming, showing a picture of M and Dre in the studio, and then a picture of him, Dre, and M in the studio. And then we get this. Now we have Stan Twitter going insane because with leaks and credible sources pointing towards an Eminem album for August.
Really?
Listen,
I heard
ladies and gentlemen, this is not M season. He's a first quarter. That's what he's been doing the past 3 or 4 years. I don't see him changing that up. Fourth quarter, first quarter. Yeah. You think Kamikaze? So Kamikaze came.
No. I'm saying Revival about his new album.
Oh, right. So what I'm hearing from these credible sources, everybody's saying something different, but they're saying they're leaking fake track lists. They're saying what artists are going to be on there, and they're saying it's coming out, I think August 22nd or in August, the third week of August or something. From what I keep hearing,
I saw September, like the first part of September.
That would make a little more sense. The closer we get into the fourth quarter, that's when M does his album.
Shout out to Michael though for reaching out to me on that one. I hit him back in the PM, but yeah, he's the one that told me about it, so I started digging.
Well, let's calm down. It's not M season for dropping, but anything is possible. Anything is possible. And look, I am the first one to get I'm the first one to get way hype for an M album when we just get the first, taste of it in the air. But it's different. Look, Revival came out in November. Kamikaze came out in December. Music to Be Murdered By, I think, again, came out in October or November. And then the second part came the following year in January. So he is a first quarter artist. Way back in the day, it was second quarter with March and April's and May. He doesn't release third quarter, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think he's ever released in the third quarter. I don't see it happening.
I never even thought about that.
He gets his sales in the fourth quarter. He's a gifty, you know what I mean?
Keep going. I'll be right back.
But I don't see him. I don't see him coming out with something unless I know people from his team are tweeting out things here and there. Again, we see these leaked information, track listings. Some of them look fantastic. Some of them look way too good to be true. Until I see something from M's camp, I'm not all in. He shadow drops, guys. He shadow drops. He doesn't really let us know. He keeps it pretty tight-lipped. I think when we got Music to Be Murdered By Side B, the only kind of inkling we got was the week prior, or maybe even 3 or 4 days prior to the album being dropped. We got a picture on Instagram that showed, I forgot what producer it was, but that he had worked on all these albums. And in that picture, you see Music to Be Murdered By Side B, which had not came out yet at that time. And I think that was the first leak that we saw. Maybe it went over really well, and so they're trying that out again. But guys, just think back to Revival. Before Revival, even then, Recovery, Marshall Mathers LP2, he gave you guys...
How did he do, everybody?
Oh, I'm still going. Bro, Dirty. You leave me to talk about Eminem, I'll be here for 8 days, okay? I'm good. But we can move on, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the rumors, but let's get into some real rap beef with one of the greatest rappers of all time, and my number 3. Royce the 5'9" is getting into it with Lupe Fiasco. These are two of the greatest lyricists you're ever going to hear on a microphone.
Wow. Yes, they are.
And
holy shit.
Listen,
really?
these guys have a podcast
hang on
together.
a second. Before you started on this,
go ahead.
I feel like I've heard this before because I know Royce and M had kind of a thing there for a while. And then I thought I heard something about Royce and somebody else.
Royce is known to get into it a little. Look, Royce has never been the one that's going to not give his opinion, whether you want it or not. Right. And he has really, he's really in on his beliefs and what he thinks. And when someone is disrespecting that in a way, he's not the type to shy away from it. Right. He's not the type to shy away. He's going to say something.
Right.
And It's just, that's just always been Royce.
Okay, I'm
He had a
sorry.
big-
I shouldn't interrupt you, but
No, you're fine.
But yeah, I'm
But
dying
look,
with curiosity here.
these guys have a podcast together. All right. And
Oh, they do?
yes, look, Royce is a very loyal person. All right. People were going in on him about, why are you why do you feel like you have to stick up for him when people are going at him, but he's not saying anything back? And, his response was, he's too big he doesn't need to do all of that. But if it comes up, I'm going to give my opinion I'm going to give my 2 cents on it. And they're pretty much saying, oh, you're just like saying this because he's your boy and all this other stuff. And they had a big group chat a few months ago with a bunch of people in on the group chat, and it was on live Instagram or something. And that's where Lupe and Royce were really arguing back and forth. And Lupe said that about him, and about him maybe just always being the best hype man, but never he's a great number 2.
Oh,
but he's not right.
But let me ask you this though. Do you think there's some people that are pushing that narrative because they're not in with M like Royce is, first of all? And the reason I say that is because a lot of times it's easy to stir the pot, especially if you're stirring the pot with somebody that's notorious at not allowing you to stir the pot. In other words, so I guess
was Lupe stirring the pot and Royce wasn't allowing that? Is that what you're?
No, what I'm saying is, so let me say it this way. All right, so let's say somebody's going after M. Royce defends him, and then everybody shits on Royce for defending M. Are they doing it because they know that they're going to get a reaction from him for defending? Because in my opinion, there's nothing better than loyalty.
Yeah.
I'm all about loyalty. And if you're not loyal to me, I'm not going to be loyal to you. But if you're loyal to me, you're not going to find anybody more loyal back.
Right.
I see that as a tremendous quality if Royce is defending M.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. And how dare somebody take a shot at somebody for being loyal, especially to somebody that helped them out?
Yep. I completely agree with what you're saying. And I think a lot of it, not so much has to do with jealousy, but more so of them, not fully understanding, I guess, like, let him fight his own battles, but he's like, he doesn't need to. And I'm going to give my 2 cents, whether you like it or not. I'm going to tell you how I feel. Ever since Revival, okay, since 2017, it's been in style to shit on Eminem. That's just
Conor
how it's been.
Eminem, right?
And then especially since the Donald Trump freestyle, it's been in style to shit on Eminem. That's just what a lot of them do. So Royce was simply getting sick of it. Everybody doing it at every corner. And he kept telling him, don't forget who the fuck you're talking about. You're shitting on him, calling him this. And a lot of it had to do with culture vulture, this and that. And
that just reminded me of something. And so a button just clicked in my head. So there's a few reactors that I watch. And one of them, I can't remember his first name. His last name is McKnight. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's got a shitload of subscribers. He's awesome. But he does metal and rap.
Okay.
And that's, I love his take on metal a lot of times, to be honest with you. But I remember him doing a video on M where he was going after a bunch of rappers because they were taking shots at M.
Yeah.
And he was vigorously defending M. And it was a real, pardon the pun, but a real turn on for me, because let's speak the truth. Carlito, let's speak the truth between us. Okay. Let's talk real here, right? M's white. And this McKnight guy that I'm talking about, he's a black dude. And the fact that
Stevie McKnight.
That is
Stevie
it.
McKnight. Yeah, I think I know. Okay.
But that is a paradigm shift that's happening in this country that I've never seen in my lifetime, and I certainly know my parents had never saw, where Black people and white people are kind of doing their own thing together now. It's not common. It's not terribly common, but there's definitely a lot more now than there ever has been in the past. And, you know, when you see somebody like M that's so polarizing, you know, you either love them or you hate them. There's not usually a lot in between.
Right.
And, you know, in a world where it's 99% Black, right? And maybe higher than that, actually. And so to have somebody attack an M, you know, and then having somebody else in that world, because he does, this McKnight guy, this is Stephen, whatever.
Yeah, Stevie McKnight.
Yeah. He does seem to be kind of dialed in to that circle of things. So I found that very fascinating. So when you said that, the things went off in my head, the alarm bells were going off crazy in my head, because I'm like, oh, that now I understand why he was so vigorous in defending M.
Right.
So
Royce is not somebody you want to have a beef with based on his history before. Again, just like M's not somebody you want to have a beef with. They're just not there. There's a different, it's not even caliber. They're just different human beings on a level that you can't comprehend lyrically. You really, really can't until you hear their music. So Royce the 5'9" came out with Silence of Lambda, which, if you guys don't know, Lambda is actually the new strain of COVID that's attacking everywhere.
Yeah.
So Silence of Lambda.
It's going really strong in Florida, by the way, right now.
Yeah. It's starting to hit in Texas too. So look, I wouldn't even classify this as a diss. This is a warning shot. He was speaking to Lupe. It felt like he was just talking the whole time, but doing so in such a way. Look, it was masterclass. It was a beautiful music.
It's Royce.
And the way he was delivering his words, it felt like he was just saying it, and it just rhymed itself. Together. But he was talking to Lupe. He didn't say anything super personal, but he really put it out there on the table for him. And in less than 24 hours, Lupe responded back with a song called Steve Jobs. And it was a 6-minute rebuttal, and Lupe just went in. It was a much more blunt attack. So when we think of rounds in rap beef,
hang on. Let me stop you there, because that's some high level shit. 24 hours later.
Yes.
Lupe's got a response.
And listen, and let's say 48, right? Because Lupe had a thought that he was going to say it. But even then, even a week's notice, a 6-minute rebuttal in the way he did his rebuttal.
He still had to have the time to record it and everything else, let alone write that.
It was amazing. It was really fucking good. Both songs were amazing. Lupe got round one for sure. When you think about a rap beef, it's not only what they can do with their words, right? It's how they are attacking that person. What are they saying? Is there content? Is there substance? There's substance in both of them. But Lupe was attacking. He went a lot more personal. Again, hitting home the whole "you're good number 2, you're not good number 1" kind of thing. One thing I did not like 100% about this beef is both of them mentioned Biz. Please don't. Royce was more like, they're trying to kill me, more premature than Biz Marquis. You know what I mean? Because of what happened. You know what I mean? With how they prematurely did that. And then Lupe was way more blunt when you think about that diss, right? And now you think of Lupe saying, I wish they took you instead of Biz. Too soon, my guy.
Ooh.
No. So you can see what I mean about how personal Lupe got versus how Royce was more of warning him. Listen, son, you know what I mean? Kind of thing, talking down like, listen, kid, this is what will happen. But Lupe definitely took it that step further, started going all in. No word yet, but I'm sure there will be a rebuttal. There's no losers in this beef. We are all fucking winners in this when two legendary lyricists battle it out.
Right.
It's rare that we get to see these kind of bouts.
Great marketing too.
Yes. Oh, 100%. And they have a podcast together. Come on. Yeah. It's good for everybody. It's good for everybody. So, so we will keep you guys updated with what's going on with that.
I'm with you though on the Biz Marquee thing. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, man. No,
it's too soon.
All right, man. Last thing I have, people, is singles of the week. I'm really feeling Jerry Robinson, and he came out with another one. If you guys don't remember, I said Jerry Robinson's song Butterflies is the candidate for the best rap hook of the year. And this man killed it again. He's in that hip hop lane. And this song Weekend was another one right up the alley. It's great to listen to if you're just chilling, cruising. That's a song right there. Weekend by Jerry Robinson. Call Me by Logic. Really dope. Okay, Logic. Let's get more of these records. Give me more album Logic. Don't give me any more of I just came up with this in the last 15 minutes because it's not good. It's really not. But this, I'll take any day. And then the number one single, Tech 9. Take Your Halo by Tech 9. What a fucking jam this song is. Tech has been coming out lately, and I'm really liking this shit right here. Take Your Halo, Tech 9, number one single of the week. That's all I got, Dirty. That's it. I'm spent. I'm done.
Dude. We're getting out of here, people.
Guys,
it's been a long week.
Much.
Long couple of weeks here. So we actually went a little longer than I think we even thought we would. So thank you to everybody. Thank you for the support, guys. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. But this stuff with my wife, thank you so much. And I will see a lot of you very soon. And we will be here next Wednesday. Next Friday.
Friday, sir.
Next Friday. Once again.
And guys, don't forget, we will be getting our picks up tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is UFC Vegas 33. Sean Strickland versus Uriah Hall. Should be a really fucking fun fight. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.